everybody. This is, and tonight we are running an exhibition race. So we got a mix of the Monday drivers and the Thursday drivers out on the grid tonight. We got 20 cars, so it should be pretty exciting. I'm Arrow. I'm just going to leave you on board with Arrow here at the moment, who is running some laps on the hard tire. Obviously the champion last season. But then he spun right as I was about to walk away. Obviously not going to be pushing too hard on the next lap now, so let's jump to RC. He seems to be pushing. We'll ride on board with RC for a bit. I'll be back in a few moments, so hopefully he stays out. Alright, we are back. I'm taking care of business, ready to commentate on another exciting race here. We've got just left in qualifying, 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go. We've got RC coming around the final turn just to start his hot lap on the set of mediums. We're right on board with RC. Let's see what kind of time he can put up. Just something I noticed while I was rummaging around, getting stuff together and getting myself settled. We got Ryan on pole position. Excellent time from him. 1:31.2. He's been really fast lately. Maybe putting in a lot of practice for the upcoming season. And then also I'd like to point out Lit Romney in 7th place as well. He's put up a very good time too. We have 20 cars out here tonight. So Lit Romney is sitting in 6th as an excellent performance in qualifying for him. I think that's as high as I've ever seen him on a qualifying grid. Hopefully he can hang on to that. He does have a bit of a cushion behind him too. It's not like he's just edged people out there. So could see Lit Romney in the top 10 tonight when all things are said and done. We do have Monday night champion. He's sitting in 10th right now on the medium tire. I suppose he's going out on the medium tire. I don't know what he set that time on. He set that time on the softs. Interesting. Electric Chicken off the road there, just staying out of the way. Nice work. Obviously this is an exhibition race, but we're trying to treat this like an official race. We want to see everybody on their best behavior, and we want to make sure that everybody understands what's okay and what's not okay going into next week when we officially start the season. So if you haven't seen yet or heard yet, we are starting the season next week. The first race is Britain. Monday night will be 8 p.m. and Thursday night at 8 p.m. for the second group of guys. Now RC's gone very far off the road here. Just trying to stay out of the way, but risks being reset to track when you go that far offline. What is up with this? Interesting. Anyway, let's find someone who's actually doing something. Stig looks like he's pushing. Ride with Stig. Nice shot of him coming down the straight there. He's got 3rd place right now. Stig very strong around France. One of the best races I've seen from him any season was France. I think year 1 he was... I can't remember where he started. He started in the top 3, I think, and then ended up getting involved in an incident and stormed his way back to the podium. So, had he not had that incident, he very well could have won that race. So, we'll see if Stig can get a little redemption tonight. Obviously, he's going to the pit lane, so wasn't pushing. Poxy. His battery's turned down. He's not really pushing. Here's Arrow. Ryan appears to be pushing. Looks like he's 2.5 tenths down on his previous time, or at least that's what it showed briefly in the sector timing in the top right corner there. Yeah, he is pushing, so right on board. We'll see if he can improve on his pole lap. He is still in pole by 7/100ths over Arrow at the moment. That's very impressive, but Arrow has done that time on the medium tire. Something to note. This last couple corners, very tricky. Sometimes you forget where you are. Oh, Ryan dives into the pit lane, so obviously happy with his time. Maybe scrubbed these tires, didn't want to set an improved time. Possibly was way down as well. Fuzz looks like he's given up. He's parked it. So Puff's in 12th, 14th. A lot of guys out of position here tonight. We've got Puff out of position, Fuzz, GP Colin as well. Mario is way off the pace there. Obviously he's had some issues or something. Generally you'd see Mario mixed in the middle chunk there. But obviously, yeah, a lot of fast times here in qualifying tonight. Seeing a lot of guys putting in really solid laps. Like they go to Coxie in 3rd. Lit Romney just dropped out of the top 10. Unfortunate for him. He had a really good first lap there. Just didn't stick. But yeah, really interesting. Obviously, everybody on different tires, so I'll recap the order briefly for you. Oops. So Ryan takes pole position. He's starting on the softs. Arrow in second on the medium tires. Coxie in third, followed by Stig in fourth, both on the softs. RC is fifth on the mediums. Zyg sitting in sixth on the soft tires. It's a pretty good lap from Zyg as well. Jinnit seventh on the mediums. Beck makes his return. He's been gone for a very long time. But he'll be around this year reserving for us. I don't think he's going to be in a seat at the moment when we don't have any room, but good to see him back out on track. He's a very competitive driver. Always adds some excitement to the night. So again, Beck in 8th, Zamoglis in 9th on the softs. Not a great spot to be starting in on the softs, but maybe gets a good launch and you can make up a couple places there. Hans sitting in 10th on the medium tire. Not a bad place to start. Obviously, you don't get tire choice at that point, but still, at least he's on the mediums in 10th rather than the softs. So Rami takes 11th, Terminal Deity in 12th, Brian Mosser takes 13th, Puff Digital 14th, JXW Gaming is in 15th, Fuzz 16th, Wolfsburg 17th, Electric Chicken is in 18th, GP Colin 19th, and Mario rounds out the grid in 20th. So hopefully they keep it all clean. Plenty of runoff here. There's really no reason to be run off or crashed out at this rate. That's just circuit. Maybe on the final turn, if you were to get the back end a little happy, you could maybe put it in a wall there. Other than that, there's really nowhere to crash. So it's going to have to be a big one tonight if we're going to put people out of this race. Unless it's a wheel-to-wheel crash, then obviously anything could happen. But all right. It's good to be back. Obviously, Puff Digital called in sick for commentary duties, and then you see him out on track. That bastard. I'll have to have a talking to. Actually, Puff Digital might not even be around this season for commentary. It would be a shame if we lost him, but right now he's in the middle of contract negotiations. Not entirely sure if we're going to be able to retain him for the upcoming season, so tune in next week to find out. Should know by then. What else can we talk about tonight? Obviously, a lot of interesting storylines coming up for the season. We've got some team shakeups. Obviously, Jinnit used to commentate our Monday night, raced in Thursday night. He's now moved to Monday nights. He's always wanted to race with us. Obviously, he just came in a little late last year. We didn't have a seat for him, and he was enjoying his commentary, and it was working out for us. So we were like, yeah, you know what? You're racing Thursday, commentate Monday. Did us a nice favor, and then we picked up a caddy along the way and gave Jinnit the opportunity to take that full-time seat in Tier 1. And I'll say he's been a good addition. Every time we've raced with him in Tier 1, it always goes pretty well. So he fits right in with the top 5 guys there. So should be interesting. Him and Zamoglis teaming up this season. See them probably fighting for a lot of podiums. Yeah, definitely a threat for the constructors this year. A few threats for the constructors this year in Tier 1. Monday. I didn't say Tier 1 until now. Trying to, there's no 1, 2, really. It's Monday, Thursday. No one's better than the other. Out of habit, obviously. Same way we keep calling that pink car the Force India. Keep saying Tier 1 and Tier 2. So, Ryan leads us away on the formation lap. Interval will leave up. What do we want? I guess we'll get position change set up for the start of the race. We'll leave the telemetry off for the first half of the race. We'll just let the boys race and start checking out the battery life towards the end of the race when we're desperate to find out what could happen. Yeah, GP Colin, another quick driver, really out of place, 19th place. I mean, I think the biggest shock out of all the drivers in their positions, it's got to be Fuzz in 16th and Puff in 14th, like both way back, and usually guys that you're seeing in the top 3, so it's going to be interesting watching them move through the field. It'll be busy keeping up with them, and We're going to have a really solid scrap in the top 10. If you look at some of the names we've got in there, if you're familiar with our drivers, we've got some Moglis capable of winning, Beck's capable of winning, Jinnet's capable of winning. Zyg's been close a couple times, but generally he's hovering around 5th, 6th pace, similar to myself. So, not sure he's threatening a podium tonight with all those other drivers hanging around him, but you never really know. RC sitting in 5th, Stig sitting in 4th. He's really fast here. Generally he's not chasing down race wins, but this is somewhere he could do it, so maybe you see Stig make some aggressive moves early. I'm just kidding. Stig's never aggressive. Just smart, consistent. Coxie. Oh, and he's back on the grid, Coxie. So Coxie's in 3rd. See him shaking his head there. Ryan in 1st. He's going to have his work cut out for him. Arrow can be right up his ass right at the start of the race. So Ryan's really got to get a good line into turn 1 and make sure he maintains that place if he wants to have a shot at winning this thing, because Arrow sitting on the mediums, if he gets by, Ryan's race is compromised. So who's the other driver sitting there on the grid? That's Stig. Unfortunate. Stig will be starting on cold tires. Obviously those two have touched. Bad luck for Stig at France continues. Here we go again. Hopefully it's not too bad tonight. Alright, see all the drivers reforming the grid. Lots of different tires out there. Should be very interesting. It looks like the strategies are split all the way up and down the field. Got some drivers out on the hards too. Get that broadcast shot of Ryan to start the race. The lights are on. We've got 2 lights on. We've got 4 lights on. All 5 are on. And they're off. Away we go. Ryan gets a good start. Just what he needed. He's got that soft tire on. Gets a really good launch right off the grid there. He's going to be able to keep that place into turn 1, I think. Coxie takes a peek, but he has to tuck in as well. And it looks like Stig's had a horrendous start. Oh no, RC's spun. We've got a collision. We've got a few drivers in the wall here. It looks like Coxie and Jinnet have crashed teammates last season, Thursday night. Jinnet has lost quite a bit of wing. Lots of wing. Coxie has lost an enormous amount of his wing. It's going to be a long time before he makes it back. Well, Jinnet makes up a place here. JXW. And Mario spun the car off into the wall. He goes. And actually, he saved that. Good on him to save that. Should have a couple close battles here now. Just try to keep an eye on them. There's been a lot of weird action going on at the back. But Arrow's right on Ryan's butt for the lead of the race right now. We've got Puff looking to pass Terminal Deity. Let's check out what tires everybody is on. Puff goes side by side. They're both on the hard, I think, right now. And Puff still on the inside, manages to get it to stick. Terminal Deity fights it back, but can't hang on. It looks like Terminal Deity's actually on the medium tire. Brian Mosser giving back some pressure here. Arrow still pressuring Ryan. Hugging the gearbox, looking for a way through. Not too sure how long the softs are going to last here. I haven't done this track in a while. Arrow with that slipstream advantage already very close, so once we see DRS, we should see Arrow finding a way through. Jinnet picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane there. More than likely he'll be stopping again, so probably serve that next time around. A little bobble from Arrow there. That's going to cost him down this straight. So Ryan maybe didn't get the greatest exit himself. He's really trying to break that slipstream. Arrow's all over him, but he doesn't have enough without the DRS at the moment. Let's check down the grid if we got any other close scraps. Beck is tucked in between Lit Romney and Brian at the moment. Lit Romney holding his own, though. He's not really losing ground with the guys in front, so good on him for he's putting in a really good drive tonight so far with the qualifying session, and first 2 laps of the race he's hanging with the big boys, so hopefully he can keep that up. Brian Mosser really all over the back of Beck here. He's on that hard tire too, and he seems to just have the pace already. Let's see if Brian can find a way through. Not the greatest place to try anything, but Puff will be closing in on Brian slowly as well. See the cars snaking through the final 2 turns. But Rami takes a lot of curb there. It's going to cost him a bit of time. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're close enough there, so... Neither intervals. RC and Wolfsburg side by side. Oh, they touch just a little bit. RC ends up being compromised, and Terminal 80 sneaks away through there. Yeah, unfortunate for RC there. He went for that move and just ended up hung out to dry on the side of the track there. Not intentional by any means, but just had nowhere to go and had to yield. Get back to Aero, still pressuring Ryan. He's got that DRS now. It's not enough, though. Surely it's only a matter of time before those softs start to fall off. Whit Romney, very close to the back of Zimoglis here. Could we see an attempt at an overtake from Lit Romney here? Beck is pressuring him hard too, and Brian Mosser and Pup Digital are tucked up right behind. Neither of those battles, the drivers are close enough to actually do anything. Oh, is that Beck spinning? Oh no. Puff's had to run very wide to avoid him there. Beck comes back onto the track. He's just gone off the line a little bit there. He returns to the track safely. Didn't lose too much time considering the moment he had there. Puff Digital takes that place. Very easy one for him. Let Rami taking a lot of curb again there. But he's got a really good run on Zimoglis here. He's got that DRS. Can he tuck in and use that slipstream to his advantage? He's also on the medium tires, so let Romney in a good spot tonight. If he can keep it right, I think he might have a really nice race. Aero's super close to Ryan here. All over the back of him. Ryan looks like he's done for coming down the straight. He runs very wide. He's fighting that car tooth and nail to hang on. Here, it's pretty much a done deal. He's got that DRS. He pulls out. Can Ryan fight it back if he gets a little toe here? I don't think he can. It's the lead of the race on that medium tire. Can the other drivers nearby keep up? Zag sitting in third right now on that soft. Under pressure from Stig in fourth. These guys in the softs will have to be pitting a lot earlier than the other drivers, so hard to say how this race could shake out for these guys, but oh, Zag runs very deep there. Now they're side by side. Zag maintains the place at the moment. I think he's got the better line. It looks like he has. Stig very close to taking that spot from Zag. He just ran very deep there. Yeah, hard to say how this race is going to shake out for these guys at the moment. We'll have to see if they can pull away from the guys behind. Obviously, Stig's already got 2-second gap to Hans behind. If he can find a way through, Stig could be in a really pretty spot. At the moment, Zag's holding him up. But you see the top three now starting to spread out a little bit. Everybody out of DRS range now. We've got Stig right on the gearbox of Zag, so very likely for an overtake here. Back side by side with Puff. Loses the place. Doesn't get the place. Loses the track position. Brian Mosser, so he's getting all out of sorts up ahead there. Can Puff pounce and put a wedge between him and Peck at the moment? Red Bull drivers scrapping it out on track tonight in France. Puff being on the hard tire obviously has a bit of a strategic advantage over Beck, but Beck's got that pace advantage, so Puff's got that DRS, so does Beck. Should have 3 wide here. Beck closes it off. Brian should tuck in behind, I think. Oh, looks like Brian has lost his end plate. He's tagged the back of Beck there. Unfortunate. It's got a lot of fucking drag here. Can't believe I just said that. It's got a lot of drag there, though. He had a chance to fight that back. Wow. Very unprofessional. I'm going to take a breather for a moment. My throat's a little dry, so I need to grab some water. Stay on board with Stig here, see if he can get the move done. It looks like Lit Romney has found a way through. Brian obviously carrying that wing damage on the hard tire. That's not good news for Brian. He looks like he had to take evasive action there as he ran very deep, and now he's struggling for traction. He's really overworked those tires, it seems, at the moment. Oh, who's that spun Puff? What on earth has happened there? He's facing the wrong way. What an awful place to get spun. I'm not too sure if they touched or if Puff just sent it around on his own. I know that car has a tendency to pendulum through that corner, so it's entirely possible that he just rotated it too much and the tire said nope. Doth thou voice has joined. Excellent. Should be joining our party any moment. We'll have another commentator on board. Along for the ride here. Terminal Datey looking for a way through on Brian. I know Brian's probably fuming under his helmet right at the moment on that hard tire with wing damage. And, yeah, super unfortunate. It's a long way to go with wing damage. Maybe consider changing your strategy at this point. Terminal Datey closes it off, gets the position. That was pretty much stroll in the park there for Terminal Datey. Brian Mosser just can't really fight with that wing compromised, but he's got some decent gaps behind him. He might be able to make this work if he can keep some pace now that he's in clear air. Doesn't have to worry about fighting anybody. Puff is now 5 seconds behind Fuzz, who is only half a second off JXW. So, see if Fuzz can find a way through. Looks like Hans now has found a way through on Zyg. We're going to break that slipstream heavily. Mario picks up a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits. I'm guessing this isn't one of Mario's best tracks. I mean, he's 44 seconds off the pace at the moment with a massive time penalty just handed to him. It looks like he's having a very frustrating evening. Zyg seems to be all over the road there. He's completely gone off the track. Not too sure what he's doing. Terminal Datey now right on the tail of Lit Romney, who's driving valiantly tonight, I must say. Sitting there in 7th, he's got RC, Terminal Datey, and Brian Mosser around him. Those are usually top drivers, and Lit Romney is someone that we've seen out of the points for most of the previous season, so maybe just a really strong track for Lit Romney, but nonetheless, he's having a solid drive tonight, and I'm happy to see it. Seems like a swell fella. Terminal Datey with that beautiful switchback. What a move. Unbelievable pass there. Excellent driving. Baited him into the bad line, and he completely launched himself ahead. That was a slick move. Bravo. JXW now pressuring Electric Chicken and Fuzz right on the tail as well. It looks like Stig has come out on a fresh set of softs right in front of Puff. That is bad news for Puff. Very bad news. Gonna struggle to find a way through there. Fuzz has a chance here, pulls to the inside, but with JXW carrying that DRS as well, just doesn't have enough. Wolfsburg is now within a second of Zamagos as well. We'll keep an eye on that battle, see if the gap shrinks a bit more. Right now we've got 3 cars here close together. Lit Romney also hanging on to Terminal Datey. Unimpressed with that move, and he wants to try fighting it back, it appears. But it looks like Terminal Datey just seems to have that little extra bit of pace that he needs. We've got Beck taking 3rd now as Ryan is pit. Fuzz looks like he's found a way through an Electric Chicken, who's run very deep there. Not a very common overtaking place, but obviously if you compromise your line and the guy's right there, it's kind of easy to do. So Fuzz now into the points on those hards. Puff just hanging on to Stig, and Stig closing on Electric Chicken now as well. GP Colin is closing on Brian Mosser. Obviously we expect that with Brian carrying that heavy wing damage. Oh, GP Colin cuts the track heavily there. I figure he's got to have at least got a warning for that. Minimum. He's got that DRS advantage, but I don't think it's enough. He's going to have to tuck back in and wait for another chance at it. Electric Chicken still defending from Stig. Losing touch with Fuzz. Actually, he was losing touch with Fuzz, but he's closing now. I wonder if Fuzz maybe had a moment there. Whoa! Electric Chicken sends the car off-road. Good job to save it there. It was a really... that car was, I'd say, 98% spun, and he managed to get it stopped, so... Good job on you for that. Could have been much worse. You're not in a terrible spot. You just gotta let those tires recover a little bit and carry on. Should be okay. Brian's given up. He's done with the wing damage. Maybe he can get to the end on a set of mediums from here. Probably could. I'd try it if I were him, at least. Might be worth it. Back now within a second of RC, so keep an eye on that gap. Got Wolfsburg passing a bunch of guys. Well, I guess it's just Brian going to the pits, and then Jinnit, obviously in a bad spot considering how the race started for him, and Coxie as well. I mean, these guys. Jinnit's within touch. I mean, he's close. He can get in there and fight for some points, but Coxie's very far off the pace at the moment. He's way behind point paying position at the moment, so a lot of work to do for Coxie. Got these three still scrapping here. Fuzz has found a way through on JXW, and unfortunately have missed that. Stig now looking for a way through on JXW. I think he's got it. Stig side by side. It's a really tough corner, but if you trust the guy you're racing beside, you can do that side by side. JXW, though, maintains the better line and keeps the place for the moment, so nice to see the new guys getting integrated with some of our veterans. Fitting right in. And again, Lit Romney having an excellent race. Sitting in 6th at the moment on that medium tires on the optimal strategy. And we see JXW dive into the pits, I believe. Was that Fuzz? It was Fuzz diving into the pits. Oh no, my apologies, it was Ryan. I thought I saw a car go into the pits. It was JXW. Ugh. Just trying to figure out who was out and who wasn't. Get those intervals back so we can kind of see what's going on a little bit. It's messed up when everybody pits. Ryan, the former race leader, pole sitter, has come out from his pit stop in 10th place on the medium tires. He's got Puff right in front of him on the hards. That's gotta be... he's probably steaming under his helmet at the moment. Surely he won't struggle to get through at this point, I think, with the tire grip difference, but any time wasted now is going to cost him. Really needs to find a way through here, and Puff is not going to make it easy, because Puff has that slipstream from Stig right ahead, so this could compromise Ryan's strategy a little bit. JXW super close to Brian Mosser here. Oh, it looks like he had to run a little wide there. What happened there? Hans gone into the pits. Oh no. Maybe that's why I see the place change, because Hans had pit. That would be very strange if Arrow had spun. It doesn't happen very often. For that matter, though, Puff doesn't spin very often, and he did earlier as well. Apologies there, I was getting a notification saying the internet wasn't strong enough to stream. I think we're good. I think we're fine. not doing anything else, so I don't really understand what the issue could be. Puff very close to Stig there, just not quite close enough. I mean, Stig on the softs, he really should be getting away from Puff right now, so... I mean, this is obviously Puff showing some pretty good pace on the hards at the moment with 11-lap-old hards. I've got Fuzz in 12th on the 11-lap-old hards, so there's about 7-8 seconds between them at the moment. I'm running the same strategy. GP Colin pits. Stig's up into 5th now on those softs. Looks like he is just pulling away from Puff a little bit there. Eternal Deity is on the butt of Wolfsburg at the moment. Let's see if he can find a way through. Got that DRS. He goes to the inside. Deity had a nice move earlier in the race, so we know he's got the overtake moves. Wolfsburg does a really good job covering him off there. Deity looking for that switchback, but doesn't have as good of a run as he did the last time he tried it. I think he might be able to get this done. Nope, he has to yield. Great defending from Wolfsburg there. It was excellent work. You see Terminal Deity with a really good run here. He's got that DRS advantage. Can Wolfsburg fight it back again? It's a long haul. It's a lot to ask, but he did do it before. I think he can do it again. He's got the better line. Oh, and it just... yeah. Wolfsburg just nudges the front of Terminal Deity. I think at that point, Wolfsburg's got the place still. I mean, Deity's wing is barely touching the rear wheel of Wolfsburg. I think that's his line. Terminal Deity just needed to yield there. Unfortunately got nudged. Oh, shit! Jinnit and Wolfsburg touched. Is that... I don't know if Wolfsburg just spun the car or if he collided with Jinnit there. I have no idea what happened there. Oh, that's so unfortunate. He was driving so well. Terminal Deity now right on the rear of Jinnit. I don't know if he's picked up wing damage. I'd imagine he did with that nudge. Surely he must have wing damage. I think the end plate's gone. Can't tell. No, I think he might have got away with that. Might have got away with that, but Terminal Deity takes the place on Jinnit here. Yeah, Jinnit on the 12-lap-old hards compared to the fresh mediums. It's a lot to ask there, but Jinnit now has that slipstream, and he is in DRS range. If he can hang on here, he might have a chance to fight back. Got Puff and Ryan very close here. Oh, Puff and Stig side by side again. Stig ran the line a little deeper there to make sure Puff could stay on the inside, but from what I could see there, Stig was Puff was more alongside Stig than Terminal Deity was alongside Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg, I think, had a right to close that door there. The line I saw was... yeah, Terminal Deity, he barely was within the wheelbase of Wolfsburg, and I think at that point you kind of need to yield. Oh, it's hard to say, though. Oh, Stig runs very deep. I think he's going to the pits. He is. So ran very deep going into the pit lane. So Stig has pit again. I think that's his second stop, and Puff hasn't even pit once. Yeah, 2 stops for Stig already. Puff hasn't even gone in. Also, Beck has not pit either. He's in the lead of the race at the moment, and Fuzz in 9th. So, I'm not sure how much longer these hards can go. I probably think about 4 or 5 more laps, I'd figure, and then maybe softs to the end. Maybe even only a couple more laps and softs to the end. Get the tire information back up. It's always better to watch that. Ryan is within DRS range of Puff here. Puff, without that DRS advantage now, is going to be under threat. I think Ryan, obviously his race has been compromised, been stuck behind Puff since he came out of the pits. Strategy's just not working out for Ryan tonight. Bad luck, really. Because Puff wouldn't have been there if he hadn't have spun too, so it's crazy how one incident can change the entire scope of a race. Excuse me. So Mario letting the guys through, obviously not having the greatest night out there. Probably just looking for treasure at this point. Puff does pit finally. I think he's probably going to take the mediums to the end here. I don't think the softs will last. The mediums would be a great tire to take to the end of the race, though. Beck is on the mediums currently, actually, so I thought he was on the hards, but yeah, interesting. RC and Zamoglis having a little scrap here. Looks like our closest battle from what the intervals I can see at the moment, actually Arrow, is right beside Beck. How did that happen? I guess he was pressuring him, maybe I just didn't notice. Beck, yeah, he's really struggling for grip at the moment. Arrow just made quick work of him there, and he's scampering off into the distance while Beck's just trying to keep the car on the road, so... I mean... Puff's his pit already off his hards. So has Fuzz. And Beck is still out on his mediums. So... I'm not surprised he's struggling for grip at the moment, but I think it's time to come in. Obviously, though, he needs to get to a point where he can put the softs on, because he can't run the hards, and the mediums are the same tire, so... He kind of has to go for a few more laps, I think, doesn't he? You can see how gingerly he's driving that car. He has no grip at all. It's like he's driving on ice. Really struggling for pace here. Bring that telemetry back up. Yeah, I mean, his lap sector times are really off pace. I can't see how this is... I guess he's got 12 seconds behind him if he comes out. I don't know. I think he comes out in about 7th if he pits now, so he's only going to cost himself more time. They'll have fresh softs, though, at the end, so that'll be interesting. Puff pulls out. He's on the outside of Brian Mosser here. It looks like he's cleared him already, well into the corner. And, yeah, great driving from Puff there. Just makes his way through. Easy peasy. Slicing through the field. We've got RC on 2-lap-old hard tires in 6th place. So he's sitting pretty at the moment. He's got Hans not too far up the road either, so... His buddy Zamoglis is right on his butt. He's not letting him breathe tonight. Stig within DRS range of Brian Mosser here. Brian, we know, has a fresh wing now, and he's going to the end, hopefully on those mediums, I think. Probably can. I mean, Beck's gone 16. I think Brian goes 17, maybe? I don't know. But Stig pressuring. Mario is about 4 minutes off of Jinnit ahead. Well, Jinnit's DNF'd. No idea if Jinnit crashed or just went into the pits and parked it. Not too sure. Just realizing now that Doth never agreed to do commentary. I kind of just assumed he would. Because he still hasn't joined us. I'll invite him again. See. Maybe he needs to be coaxed into it. It's hiding offline, I see. Just to make it more complicated. Just filter through hundreds of F1 drivers. Yeah, Stig's lost a little bit of ground to Brian. Now, Brian is really pressuring Puff, actually. And Puff is looking for a way through on Lit Romney, who's, again, had an excellent night tonight. He's gone out on the hards for his second stint. I guess that was really the only option. Softs would never last. Got Puff pulling out. He's looking for a way through on Lit Romney. Looks like Brian's trying to sneak a way through, too. He's looking to hitch a ride, but I don't think he's going to get it done. On Brian's wing again. Oh, he's crashed into the back of Lit Romney once again in the corner, and he's broken his wing. And Brian tucks to the inside. Is he going to send it? I don't think he's got the space there. No. Didn't have the line. Oh, Brian's crashed into Lit Romney. He's gone very deep. And that'd surely be the rest of his wing gone now. Ah, it's got to be frustrating. Is that... Yeah. Stig right on the butt of Lit Romney. Oh, is that Brian? Yeah, I think Brian's calling it a night. Or at least getting a wing, actually. He probably can make this work, actually, if he goes out on the softs. It's not that far behind. I'm just going for another set of mediums. Alright. Bad luck for Brian. Just a little too close to the guys in the braking zone there. I think he just, you know, the car doesn't get as much stopping power when the downforce is cut off. Trailing behind like that, you just don't have the downforce. You don't have the same grip. And if you're tucked right in the gearbox of somebody, your braking point's a little earlier. And it seems like he's just missed that a couple times tonight. So, unfortunate. Stig pulls out, looking for a way through. Side by side, these guys are scrapping. And I think Lit Romney has lost the place to Stig now as well. So, 19 laps in, Lit Romney has slid out of the top 10 finally. A familiar place, we've seen Lit Romney outside the top 10. I thought he has an excellent drive tonight so far. Just, you know, look at the guys ahead of him. Stig, this is one of Stig's best tracks. So Stig in 10th is a guy who could win this race any given night. And then obviously you've got Puff, two-time champion. Terminal Deity, he's run a pretty flawless race. So obviously sitting ahead of Puff, who's had some issues. Beck, excellent driver, very fast. Zamaglis, very fast. RC, very fast. Hans, pretty fast from what we've seen as well. Not too familiar with Hans at the moment. I've only seen him in a few races as a reserve, but he does seem to have pretty good pace. He's mixed in with our midfield and our top guys consistently every time he's driven with us. So Zag, another quick driver, sitting in third. Ryan, obviously very quick here tonight. Yeah, he seems to have pace lately, and he's sitting in second, and Arrow's just scampered off the 22nd lead out in front. You see Arrow's just on cruise control at the moment. He's taking it easy. It doesn't even look like he's pushing. Like, it doesn't, you know, like F1 cars will always look fast, but like, he goes into the pits. Just wants the fastest lap tonight, too. Can't blame him. He's got it in the bag pretty much at this point. RC is pressuring Hans. He'll be looking for a way through shortly. Lit Romney's still hanging on to the back of Stig, though, so... Lit Romney's pace here is closer to the top drivers than it is to the midfield drivers tonight, so... Something to note. We'll keep an eye on his pace in France when we see him in the season. See if he can repeat this performance. He's done an excellent job tonight. If you take away the guys that are in Tier 1 that are here racing tonight, and there's quite a few of them, because we do have a mixed-up grid tonight. RC gets the move done, dives down the inside. Hans looking for that switchback. He's inching closer. I don't think he's close enough for the switchback, though. RC's got the move done. And off towards the podium. See if he can get a podium tonight. He's got Zag and Ryan scrapping ahead, and Arrow is in the way, too. So, Arrow... If RC can close on Arrow while these cars are bunched up, I think RC has a shot at pulling off the podium. Lit Romney, 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. I figured that would happen eventually. I've seen him running wide quite a few times tonight. But yeah, back to Lit Romney's performance. Excellent work tonight. Take away those Tier 1 guys. And Hans looks like he's fought back. He's made it back through on RC. I did not see that coming. I thought RC was off towards the podium. But now suddenly RC's under threat from Beck on the softs behind. Yeah. Crazy. RC is still very close to Hans, obviously. So this could get very interesting with these three drivers, and then Zamagla's not far off either, so could see him come in for a taste of the action shortly. Aerostrike, so much more grip here. All over the gearbox of Zyg. He's got that DRS, so does Zyg. I think Zyg might have enough here. I don't know. Aero can send it and get it done. He does send it and get it done. He's got so much more grip on the brakes. Great pass from Aero, actually. It was a bit of a lunge, but he just knew he had the traction. Ryan now under threat. Aero will make quick work of him down the DRS straight here, and then Zyg might be able to pull a double slipstream here and actually find a way through on Ryan. Zyg's got some battery. I think the time to use it is now. Aero pulls out. Reed takes the lead of the race here, and I'm sure he'll start putting in work for his fastest lap. Zyg not close enough to look for a double slipstream move there, so he might just have to tuck in and whittle that gap down again. RC very close to Hans once again, but now under threat from Beck as well, so it's kind of make or break for RC here. He needs to get through. Zyg's still keeping drastically. We do have a lot of gaps in the field now. Puff, Stig, Lit are all a little bit off each other there, but in general, most of the gaps are not that large. They're all within. They could all be closed over the next few laps. So it's good to see. CRC dive down the inside. He still hasn't found a way through on Hans. Can he get it back with the switchback? Doesn't seem to have enough grip to get it done. Beck's kind of just sitting back, biding his time at the moment. He's closing in here in the first sector. I think this might be Beck's best opportunity yet. Let's see if he tries a move down into the chicane. And it looks like RC is in a good spot as well, so could see two overtakes here. Let's see what happens. RC tucking in behind, looking for that extra slipstream. Beck's looking for a tow through. Hans covers off Beck, but he loses the place to RC. This is good news for RC, though, because he's going to have Beck pressuring Hans. That should free him up to go build a bit of a gap. Hans, again, though, with that grip and that slipstream, has a chance to fight back. He's on the outside of RC here. I think he had to yield. But now Beck has found a way through on Hans as well. He's around the outside. Hans swings back underneath. Hans has defended it for the moment, but Beck down the inside on this left-hand sweeper. Beck runs a little deep. Hans now has the better line. This is a really great scrap with these drivers here. Beck has run very deep there. He's run off the road. I'm surprised he didn't pick up a penalty for that. Hans picks up a 3-second penalty. How on earth did that happen? That's not what I was expecting from that. Zyg, though, with his best opportunity yet. He's within 3/10. Oh, he's compromised himself into the first sector here. Hopefully he can close this before the next DRS zone. Maybe we can see a chance at an overtake here. Beck's still pressuring RC, and Zamaglis now into the fight. 18 lap old mediums. He'll struggle to do any damage. But these two keep duking it out. He might have a sniff. Also see JXW pressuring Electric Chicken for 16th at the moment, too. Oh, I don't know. I don't know there. RC and Beck. Yeah. That was a little bit of scruffy driving there, boys. Okay, Beck is intentionally crashing now, it seems. And taking out advertisements. DHL is going to be pissed. You son of a bitch. But, yeah. That's extremely discouraged. Intentionally crashing. I know Beck hasn't been around for a while, but obviously needs a bit of a rule briefing. We don't crash on purpose. If you don't want to race anymore, and park it. But yeah, we will apply penalties for stuff like that during the season. So if you got any sloppy driving or frustration crashing to get done, tonight's the night. Probably still going to chastise you a little bit about it, but you get away with it tonight. Next week you won't. Zyg, man, it's so frustrating. I mean, the pressure between these two drivers, they must both be feeling right now, has to be immense. Zyg really wants to find a way through. Ryan really wants to hang on a second. It's been a very interesting scrap, and Zyg just doesn't seem to have enough to close it in and actually take that chance at an overtake. Not sure if Ryan just has a slippery setup on the straights and Zyg's just struggling in the overtaking zones, because he seems to keep pace with him pretty consistently around the track, but just doesn't close on the straight, even with the DRS. Very interesting. Samoglis still pressuring Hans here. X obviously pretty much thrown his race away at this point. He's down in 14th. He's got a fresh set of softs. Ryan pressuring Coxey. See what we can do here. I think he's made it through there clean, Brian. Oh, he's run very deep there. So now Coxey's fighting him back. Coxey's switched to the inside. Brian's really pushing him off the road here. He's not leaving him much space at all. Coxey's begging for space. And I think Coxey gets the move done. Brian has much fresher tires though, so he'll have a chance to fight it back. Hopefully they tidy it up a little bit, because it seems like they're getting a little frustrated with each other at the moment. To be fair, Brian did run him pretty wide, and he... I don't know, man. I don't know what that was. But it was questionable. Certainly very questionable. I'm not going to comment further on that until we take a look at it. GP Colin pressuring Lit Romney. Right on the gearbox of Lit Romney, who's sitting in 9th, so he's back into the top 10, Lit. Can he hang on to it? Zyg has found a way through. I followed that battle for so long, and he's past Ryan now. I'm so frustrated I missed that. So one of you guys upload that. GP Colin has found a way through and Lit Romney, so I've missed that as well. Wow. I'm gonna get fired. Good thing Puff just quit, because they can't replace me anymore. Beck pulls out. It looks like he's got the move done on Coxey here. And quick work of him on those fresh softs. Smogo's still pressuring Hans. Brian Mosser picks up a 3-second penalty. Looks like he's lost a bit of ground to Coxey there. Obviously, tagged the rear tire and nearly spun his car. And Coxey nearly spun as well, but Coxey got the better end of it. Yeah. Interesting moment there. It's been noted. It's under investigation. The stewards have announced. I mean, the whole sequence really is under investigation. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really like what I saw. For about 5 turns there, I didn't like what I saw, so. RC's pressuring Puff. Let's see if he gets a run at him here. It's the final lap of the race. Arrow is going to take the win by a large margin here. Even pit for another set of tires and still is up by 12 seconds. I think Ryan's going to have to settle for 3rd. It looks like Zyg has pulled out a gap enough to cover off the DRS. Samoglis not close enough to Hans yet. RC is the closest to Puff as anyone is on the grid to anyone else, so... And RC bobbles it. And there it goes. We got Zyg coming home in 2nd. Great drive from Zyg tonight. Excellent work. Shows me what I know. Oh, and Ryan actually takes 2nd because Zyg had a penalty. That's unfortunate. Good to see that Zyg made it through, though, finally. Samoglis actually takes 4th. Hans had a lot of penalties, obviously. He's way down the grid now. Wow. RC only 2.5 tenths off of Zamoglis there. I don't think they were that close on track, though, so obviously penalties played a part in that. Huff finishes 6th. Hans finishes 7th. Good old Stiggy in 8th. Another frustrating France Grand Prix for him. Must be a curse on him for this circuit or something. Lit Romney in 9th. Excellent drive from him. I think that's the best drive I've seen from him since he's joined us, if I'm being honest. Excellent performance in qualifying. He was there all night racing with the best of the best. And my hat's off to you, bud. That was a great drive. GP Colin comes home in 10th. Terminal Beatty in 11th. Coxey in 12th. JXW 13th. Brian Mosser, frustrating night for him, 14th. We'll round out the rest of the grid once we see the graphic. Yeah. Overall, though, great race. A lot of good action. Lots of crashes and spins and a little bit of bumping and grinding, but all in all, I think it was all pretty clean for the most part. Didn't see anything too bad. Obviously, Beck crashing into the wall. We don't want to be seeing that ever. I don't care if it's exhibition or not. You don't know what kind of mess you're going to cause doing stuff like that. There it is, though. Arrow wins another race. This time it doesn't count, so somebody beat him next week, for Christ's sakes. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do interviews. It's an exhibition. I'm not going to do interviews for exhibition. Probably have some moderating to do in the chat anyways, if I'm being honest. Anyway, Electric Chicken comes home in 15th. Beck comes home in 16th. Wolfsburg in 17th. And then Fuzz 18th. Well, obviously, Wolfsburg had a pretty good night until he got tangled up there with Jinnit. I don't know if it was... Either way, they were close to each other, and Wolfsburg ended up in the wall. So, I'm not too sure if they bumped or if Wolfsburg just lost the line and was maybe... lost grip there or something. So Fuzz DNFs, Jinnit DNFs as well, and Mario's disqualified, rightfully so. 4 minutes behind halfway through the race. I think that was a pity disqualification. Mario, lad, what are you doing? What are you doing out there? Alright, well, that wraps it up. Exhibition race next week. Everything counts. Everything is for real next week. So you can tune in Monday night. We'll have Caddy Damas on the call for our season debut. It'll be season 3 of Zenith Online Racing. We're starting with Britain. We've mixed up the grid this year. You can check out our socials. Our YouTube channel, we'll get the link put up in there for you in our bio. Make sure that you guys can get to those, but you can follow us, look us up, Zenith Online Racing on Instagram and Twitter. And you can see our race schedule, our rosters, our new teams for the upcoming season. Yeah, and we'll remind you on there when the races are coming up and when we go live. So Monday night, the season gets underway. Caddy Damas will have the call for Monday night, and then it will be myself and a mystery commentator for Thursday. Mystery commentator might just be me as well. We will see when the time comes, but thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we will catch you next week. Good night.